Hello there. Well, that P&O Ferries boss was put through the wringer at the Business Select Committee, wasn't he? But will it do any good? Not a good look for the squirming, extremely well-heeled, millionaire P&O boss Peter Hebblethwaite to not to be able to explain how his workers will be able to afford to live on the breadcrumbs he's paying them. And how about being asked by the chair of the Business Select Committee of MPs, Darren Jones, are you in this mess because you don't know what you're doing, or are you just a shameless criminal? And he also admitted that his company had made the choice to not consult with the unions because he knew they would never accept what was on offer, and also suggested that he'd do the same thing again. We did not believe there was any other way to do this. We weren't viable before, and I know that if we hadn't made radical changes, the business would have closed, he said. And he also claimed that the £5.50p an hour wage P&O is offering the replacement workers is competitive. But he also said that where the company is required to pay the minimum wage, that they would do and do. Now, there's been a lot of talk about changing the law to make the minimum wage apply at sea. But as I pointed out in an earlier video, this law is already in place to cover all seafarers working on the UK continental shelf, and it came into force in October 2020. Further, if memory serves, the UK continental shelf goes out further than our exclusive economic zone. So it may not be the minimum wage law that needs changing, but finding a way of enforcing it at sea. And I gather that these new P&O Ferries staff are not unionised, so they'll have no help in knowing their rights, let alone enforcing them. And back in May 2021, shiptechnology.com talked about a case in point, saying that in one case, a crew was being paid £3.94p per hour for a 12-hour shift, directly contravening the UK legislation, which from the 1st of October 2020 states that all seafarers working in UK waters are expected to be paid minimum wage, regardless of their nationality. Paying seafarers below £4 per hour on these routes has been illegal since October last year, said RMT General Secretary Mick Lynch in a statement. RMT repeatedly warned the government that this would continue to happen without effective enforcement or clear guidance. As a result, seafarers working in UK waters remain fair game for dodgy employers looking to take advantage of the green rush in offshore renewables. And it goes on to say that this is not an isolated case. But why is no one talking about this particular law now? Is it because the left and the press don't want to have to admit that the Tories did put a law in place to protect seafarers' wages? And the Tories don't want to admit that it's an unenforceable law? Maybe it's also time to start taking a look at those places that run flags of convenience operations, with the aim of making it impossible for the more lax ones to conduct certain maritime operations in the UK. That way, P&O would have to re-register with an acceptable flag, preferably ours. Bottom line is, if a company can't afford to pay its staff the minimum wage while operating in the UK, then it is a broken business model and it deserves to go under so that someone else can come in, take it over and restructure it into a going concern. That may be harsh for the workers, but far better than what P&O is subjecting them to for their own ends.